Alright, I'm making this video for my friend, but this may be useful to anybody else as well. Those are 400-watt solar panels. So each one of them, on their best day, will make 400 watts each. So you got about 3,000 watts of potential power on that side, producing approximately 280 volts. On this side, probably can't see, yeah, you're not gonna be able to see it. There's another 4 panels on that side, producing approximately 150 volts. They come inside of the shop here into a low voltage photovoltaic disconnect, and then a high voltage photovoltaic disconnect. They come out, and right now it's powering. This is solution 1. This is the homemade power system that I set up. This has a total of 20 kilowatt hours of power. Right now it's fully charged, so it's not taking in any solar power right now, which means I should probably be dumping some of it off into the house. But the solar panels up on the roof are approximately, you're gonna make that best 4,500 watts, and it's never really ever seen that high. Maybe 4,000 watts in the middle of the summer, more like 2,500 to 3,000 watts on a normal day. You're going to produce that for as long as the sun is at peak levels, and then it's going to diminish at that point. So you're going to want to dump them into a pretty healthy battery bank. So these right here are 48 volt server rack batteries. These are the most affordable ones you can get. They're about $700. Well, they were $750. I think they're up to $900 now a piece by EcoWorthy. They're all hooked together in that fashion. They go down, up, and into this inverter. And this little inverter is a 6,000 watt. It's an EG4 6000 XP, which will produce 240 volts or 120 volts. Outside of this inverter, it runs to a primary, be like a normal RV loads panel that you'd find at a campground. And right now I have all the breakers on here, so it'll make a little 120 outlet. It'll make your RV plug, your 30 amp. It'll put out 50 on this side. This is outputting 50 amps. It's going out into a generator inlet right here, which is now powering this mini sub panel. So this is a transfer switch. So up would be grid, down would be inverter power. So that would be this little setup here. This is the unit that just powers the whole shop constantly. Power here, power for the chicken coop, the fans, the window air conditioners, and so on. Just to give you a loads test, I'll drop it onto inverter, turn on all the lights, and we'll look at our discharge rate. So this is running off of a shunt on the negative battery terminal. So this will tell me in true time what's sucking off of this thing. So 380 watts just in lights. So you got some lights up here on the ceiling. You got lights under here. So if I load this thing down, like let's just send it, right? Like we're in a mobile office. So we'll send more LED lighting that way. We'll send more LED lighting this way. So now we're running more lights. Typical window air conditioner. Let's kick that thing on and jam that bad boy. And let's go ahead and look right now what we're pulling. So right now, actually, we're probably pulling in solar too. Let's shut down solar panel bank 1 and bank 2 because it was supplementing solar power. So right now, that compressor has not kicked on yet on that air conditioner, but you're at 771 watts here. Let's go turn on an inverter air conditioner. This will kick the compressor on right away. This one on here. So that'll start jamming. So right now, 1,400 watts coming out of this thing. You know, it's, you know, this shop, when it's really cranking, both air conditioners running, you're going to be pulling about 2,000 watts, which would be a typical, you know, normal summer day out here. So if you're not producing prime solar to be charging this thing up constantly, you know, you got your mathematical offset as to what's going to be pulling off of it. But if we turn solar back on here and here, we'll watch, give the inverter a minute to kind of understand what's happening. It's going to start pulling in solar. It'll start taking away that demand as these things are running. So it's still in a discharging state. These two kind of, this goes off the battery management system of the batteries. This goes off of a shunt. I know I'm making way more solar than this thing can take in right now, and the battery management system is limiting how much it's allowing to come in from the solar panels because we are at 100%. So it's going to suck down a good amount of battery power before it'll start supplementing the usage from the battery system with the solar. So what would probably happen on a normal scenario here is once it's gone around 97, it'll probably flip into a charge state, because I'm probably making about 2,800 watts right now in the middle of the day with the sun out. So that's just a rough idea. Now to do something like this where, you know, I made this thing mobile so I can just throttle it around, and if I need to take it somewhere, I can take it somewhere, or take it into a truck or something. It'll drive itself up a ramp. But if you want to do something like this, you get an idea. You're, you know, about $800 to $900 a battery. You're about $2,500 on an inverter. You're about $300 to $400 on wires, cables. You're about 3 days of time into putting it all together and doing it right. And then to push, if you want to push more power into this, if you're not genning up enough solar, that's where this comes in. So this is an EG4 chargeverter, which is basically like a fancy power conditioner. This will take the generator power from any generator. If you got a generator that'll jam, it'll pull up to 5,000 watts DC, which will then send it right into the battery. So it's not doing a AC to DC conversion. It's taking your AC off your generator, converting it to DC, sending DC power into the battery bank. So you can charge this thing while you're running everything. You know, this is solution one to do it if you want to save a little bit of money and kind of put the components together yourself, kind of thing. And then to buy a more reliable, in my opinion, more reliable solution, you would be getting into like the EcoFlow Ultra or the Ultra X, which is what I have inside of the house, which everything is proprietary and it's an ecosystem and there's an app. But it basically does, the new EcoFlow X, the Ultra X, will give you 12,000 watts of output at 240, which is a nice healthy amount of power. And then each battery bank is 6,000 watts, and you can stack those things up forever. They'll take in any kind of power, you know, from the solar panels that you want to send it. The problem with it is you got to have a low total harmonic distortion generator to gen it back up. So then you start getting into well, what generator can charge the EcoFlow? And I did a video on this on my channel already, but this is the one. It's the 11,500 TFC. If you want to buy a traditional generator, that'll send a continuous 7,000 to 8,000 watts all day long without going into max, you know, overload to charge that EcoFlow setup. So I've got two of these to hit each one of the EcoFlows if I need to. And then you can go a little bit lower power solution with that's a Smart Generator 4000. I'll charge an EcoFlow Delta Pro. But you're not going to really want to push a Delta Pro inside of a small shop, to me, that much. It's not going to, you're going to want a bigger inverter. So that's it. We got two air conditioners jamming here. And we're only at a negative 400 pull on this thing. So it's using the rest for solar. So I don't know. Kind of put the video together for you, but you can take it what you will. And then again, like, you know, if you do something like this setup, this I've also set up to take in solar. And then if we want to disconnect it from all this stuff and then just use this as a big backup battery for the backup system in the house, I can just use it as a big DC current bucket, which 48 volt batteries will send 800 watts continuous into the EcoFlows inside the house to just top them off like a trickle charger. So I would just out these into one of the feeds here, turn it on, and it'll just dump 800 watts continuous until this thing's empty. So this could technically run off a PV Array 3 on the shed, charge, and run the rest of the house. So that's in a nutshell, you know, how I've got my setup here. I don't know if any information is helpful, but if you want more, you know, details about certain product, or, you know, if you know what your continuous wattage draw is inside the building, that'll help you kind of determine what size panels you need to put up, you know, how you're going to do the array, how it's going to face, what voltage, because these inverters are all, this one's not very picky, but some of them are picky about your starting voltage. You know, if you don't have enough starting voltage from your PV array, if they're in series or parallel, it won't kick on, and, you know, you got to kind of pay attention to those little details. But if you got any questions about it, you know, obviously let me know, and I can kind of help guide you into a solution that's, you know, the right way to do it, in my opinion. I've been doing this for a minute, trying to put all this together and understand it as I go, you know, because I don't be down without power anymore. So hope this helps.